If you had to diagnose the number one thing in your life that has been the cause of the angst and the sorrow that you suffered, what would you think? What would you say that it was? You blame your mom, your dad, circumstances, your boss, your brother, sister, girlfriend, husband, wife. What is the thing? What is the main thing? What's the thorn in your side as a man? For a long time, for probably the majority of my life, I went through it believing that I had a pretty good grasp of who I was and what I stood for and a bunch of different things. And I went about my life going, conducting myself with what I believed to be the truth. And things happen, some good, some bad, some indifferent, just life. But there's always things, there's moments, there's occurrences in our life that really I think that are meant to be teachers. And most of us, because of various reasons, self-preservation, ego, pride, stupidity, ignorance, youth, the list goes on and on and on, but lots of us don't listen to the lessons that are to be learned. Now, over the last 5 years since I started my veterans program, which catapulted into a men and young man's group, what I've noticed is most men, most boys suffer from the same affliction. And this affliction that we all suffer from, it comes from it comes from a lot of different things, but mostly it's ego. Mostly it's ego, and then from the ego it turns into a lot of different things, but it basically comes back to your ego, your persona, or who you think you are, who you want people to believe that you are. Very, very few people have the balls to tell you what they're truly afraid of, or what hurts them, especially men. Men have a saying that keeps them weak, and that is, "I'm good, bro. I'm good." It's not macho to have any sort of feelings that can deem weak, even though even the strongest man feels every emotion that the weakest man feels. It's just how he chooses to deal with those things and express them or suppress them. But one of the biggest problems when you unpack all of the superficial layers of what we use to keep us safe and secure and free of judgment, when you get down to the bare bottom of their treasure chest, their footlocker of bullshit, secrets, and lies, the biggest one is the last thing, the lies. It's not just the lies that you tell other people that's the problem in your life. It's the lies that you believe about yourself a lot of times. A lot of times we have an idea of what we are, and sometimes you're pretty close. Sometimes we're in the realm of accuracy there. Sometimes we're in the ballpark, but most of the time we don't really know who we are. And if we do get into the ballpark area, we don't really understand how we got there. Well, one of the biggest things that changed my own life, was coming to the realization that almost every single thing that caused me hardship in my life was a result of a lie. And not necessarily that a lie that someone told me, but maybe a lie that I told, or maybe a truth that I didn't tell, so lying by omission, or lying to myself about who I was, what I was, where I was at, whatever it was. I can look back with a lens and see that had I been honest about a lot of things, I wouldn't have suffered a lot of the things that I did. But they were all necessary. See, just like in the gym, you grow through pain, discomfort, and learning hard lessons by fucking up, making mistakes. That's all part of life. You know, if something happens and it sucks and it makes you feel a certain way, you just learn. Like a fighter, you get in the ring and you get your ass whooped. You don't leave. You don't quit. You watch tape, figure out what you did wrong, and learn how to get your head offline, weave, move, fight back, whatever it was that you didn't do. You don't just quit when you're a man. Men don't just quit when it gets hard. When things get hard, you're supposed to dig in. But it's the lies that we tell ourselves. Man, this is just too hard. I'm just not built to do this. I don't have time to do this. All of these lies that we tell ourselves keep us in places that many of us, most of us, don't want to be. Just look around at people. Most people that you see are walking around in a state of quiet desperation. They wish, hope. You know, they live believing a bunch of lies, and their life just sucks. Like they're trying to swim in quicksand. But you know, this since this channel is based on men's awareness and practice of the knowledge of red pill and interaction with women, I want to focus on the lies that we tell and believe in relationships. You see, when you're dealing, when you look at how many times that you've dealt with women or girls, if you're a younger man, and at a very core level, you listen to these people talk, and you knew that this girl or woman was an absolute retard, but you were so thirsty to have sex with her that you pretended that she wasn't. You know, this is just like what I was talking about in my previous video about, you know, a child that grows up delusional and nobody is truthful with them. This is what I'm talking about. When you entertain women, and just people in general, but specifically women, that you really have no use for other than your sexual gratification, and you lie by pretending that they're interesting. You waste your time lying by omission, laughing at shit that's not funny, and pretending that this person has some sort of value outside of your only intention with her. You see, these type of things, these type of lies, when you see how, you know, when you look at your own life and look at even the little ones are all often the most insidious, because when you tell a bunch of little ones, it equates to a mountain. And by the time that, you know, someone pulls one of the little ones off the bottom, the mountain comes crashing down on your ass. If you just told the truth, if you just lived a life where you were living in truth, then you wouldn't have to worry about that. But the crazy part about it is this. In my program with men, I built this program off of my own experience, off of the things that I had to do to get my shit together when I realized that the reason why my life wasn't where I wanted it to be was me. And once I realized that I was full of shit in so many areas. And I had run from so many different things because they were uncomfortable, or they were unsure, or they were uncertain. And I made up a nice little set of bullshit lies and excuses and reasons why I didn't attack these things. And my life was what it was. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't what I knew that it should be. And as soon as I let go of the person that I thought I was, I started to become the man that I was meant to be. The number one thing that I did, gentlemen, was I stopped fucking lying. To myself, to everyone around me. And it was uncomfortable initially. People didn't like it. I got called a dick, an asshole, a bastard, a bunch of sweet words, but it didn't matter. Because the things that I told the truth about, every single person almost that I told the hard truth to, that I didn't lie to, that I didn't omit anything from, all of them, almost, just about all of them, probably 98% of them, came back and said, you know what, dude, it made me upset when you said that the way that you did, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it because You telling me that made me fill in the blank. And that's what the truth does. And so I've built an army of men that sharpen one another by telling the truth to one another. Not in an asshole way, but the whole bro code, supporting your homeboy doing fucked up shit so he'll have your back, that's bullshit. That's little boy shit. Bro, real brothers, they hold their brothers to the truth. If nothing else, you tell them, hey man, this is wrong. And you need to know that. You don't just go along to get along. That's not what men do. It's not what leaders do. So if you wanna take your life and start redirecting things to where you're the general instead of just a potato peeling dummy, take responsibility for your world. Stop lying. Stop making excuses for things that you know you should do. Stop making excuses to not get shit done. Stop lying to people. And the moment you find that you've done this, the moment you've discovered that you told a lie, fix it immediately. Go to that person and apologize. You don't even have to have a reason. Your apology alone will put you in a group of uncommon men. Because most cowards they lie because they're cowards. And they will never tell the truth because that cowardice runs so deep within them they cannot face themselves. So begin to face yourself. Begin to face yourself and see where you are lying to yourself, where you are lying to others, where you're putting yourself in a position that you don't want to be in because you're too much of a coward to speak up and say, you know what, this is not okay with me. I don't want to do it. Other people's feelings are not your responsibility. And I'm not saying to trample on them, but you are first, man. You are the king. So what you feel, it should matter first. You tell the truth for the truth's sake. Not to hurt anybody, not to inflate anyone's egos, not to tear anyone down. Just for the truth's sake. This will make you an uncommon man. Out.